Well, welcome everyone to the Friendly Water for the World chat about our partners. Thank you all very much for joining us today on the, I guess it's Halloween's Eve. I hope everyone's got some fun plans for the weekend, and hopefully you've got some partners to go out and have a good time with, or at least meet at the door when they come visiting you. So should be hopefully a fun weekend for everyone. Little housekeeping, start with, please, if you are not already a sustaining donor, consider being one. Those are our monthly donors. They're the backbone of our organization. And you can become a sustaining donor by either going onto the website underneath friendlywater.org/donate and select a monthly donation, or you can just contact me directly if you've given before, and I can set it up for pretty easily for you. You should know this chat is being recorded. The chats are available on through our website. They're hosted on YouTube. We do actually get quite a few views of the conversations we have, usually at least 50 to 100 or more. So keep that in mind. If you don't want to share something, I have other people that hear you share it. But otherwise, we'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to ask questions. You can interrupt me if you like. You can type something in the little chat box for Zoom, however you would like to do that. So we are Friendly Water for the World. We are on a mission to transform the villages of the world. You will see that more and more in our communications and our collateral. I love this shot. This is a great shot of some soil sifting in Matsakha, Kenya. That soil is going to become bricks, for curved bricks actually, for our rainwater catchment tanks that we're building as part of our water security program in Kenya. We do all this work through our programs, ranging from water security to improved sanitation, clean water, safe cooking. If you ever have any questions on those, feel free to either go to our website, or you can reach me at will@friendlywater.org, and I'd be happy to chat with you about them and answer any questions you have. Hopefully you received an email about our upcoming Build Week. This is kind of our big fundraising week as we move into the fourth quarter of the year. The week does include Giving Tuesday, which is on the 30th of November, so that will be a part of the week. I'll be having more information on our website about the week. It'll be an opportunity for us to share with you, and hopefully for you to share with us as well, all the work that we have accomplished this year. It's been an amazing year. We will end that week with a chat on December 3rd, where we'll kind of wrap up the week and also wrap up the past year and talk about a little about what we hope to accomplish next year. So let's talk about partners. So a few things about partners. Through kind of the last few years, as we were looking into our work and what we have or have not accomplished over time, we realized that partners were our greatest asset and really the most crucial asset that we have. That connectivity to the work in the community. You know, most of us on this call are probably thousands of miles away from the communities that we partner with. And it's so important to have trusted relationships with both the community and partners who can interact with that community on our behalf, and who can also work with our team that's on the ground. And that has grown by one new person. Hopefully you all received an email with Ezra Kakandu's announcement, or our announcement about him joining us in Kenya. We're really excited to have him on board as our assistant program manager out of our Kakamega Build Center. So that's really exciting. We know from our work that every one of our programs requires not just partners, but partnership. It's not simply enrolling someone to be a partner. It's really building something with them and having very clear communication, and also making sure that responsibilities are clear and accountability is given to all those partners in the work that they do. And no one partner is more important or necessary than another. Every partner we work with is vital to the programs that we have, both the early part of the program, understanding the community, and especially once training or technology is in place and we are helping the community build that program into their own vision of something and what it can help the community become. So our partner selection process, I would say that there's definitely a process here. But there is some serendipity to it. So we've been around for over 10 years. We have great connections in the communities and countries in which we work. We often find partners in those communities through the discovery phase of, very similar to what we do with when we're visioning what a community will want to become. We work through this ABCD community development process, and as part of that process there's a discovery phase, and it's very much reflective of how we often find partners is through discovery, through existing connections, or just reaching out into the general community, and often just finding out from the individuals with whom we're working with who they know and who they are connected to. And because our partners really reflect several different kinds of categories, and I'll talk about those in this chat, we find them in all kinds of ways. And so let's talk about local partners. And this is kind of where it all starts. I wanted to highlight the Matsakha Development Group because it's certainly who we've talked about more than anybody else this year. This is just a sample of the team. There's at least 24 members of the group, and this group grew out of our 3-day community engagement process where 100 members of the Matsakha community, the 10 villages of Matsakha, came together and went through the appreciative inquiry approach and the ABCD process to vision what they wanted their community to look like. As we learned from the assistant chief, no one had ever really no outside development group had ever introduced themselves to the community before, and certainly hadn't sat down with 3 days with them. And so this was our opportunity to not just make introductions and start to build a relationship, but start to build trust and get to know folks and see what people were interested in doing and what their strengths were. And from that initial 100 people, we got down to a handful of representatives, and from that group, a larger Matsakha development group was created. And so, like I said, there's about 24 of them now, and they have been very, very busy so far this year. That group started in January with a soap making training as part of the Good Hygiene program. And in this picture right here, you'll see them measuring out something for the soap. That's actually Ezra, our new teammate right there. He helped train the group in how to make soap and also how to market it, and came up with the formula for the soap itself with his chemical engineering background. And so they've made over 4,000 liters, made and sold over 4,000 liters of soap this year. And so there are a handful of members in the group who are just dedicated to the soap making, and that's their primary role. Other members of the group are and these tend to be the men. They internally refer to themselves as the Matsakha boys, and Matsakha is another partner that I'll be talking with a bit later. But they are making bricks here. These are the interlocking stabilized soil bricks that are the foundation of our rainwater catchment tanks. And so there's a handful of the Matsakha Development Group team that just does the soil sifting and the mixing and the pressing and curing for the bricks. And they have pressed over 15,000 so far this year. So again, very, very busy. Here, the third program that they've been working on now, water security program. This is a tank at the Matsakha Primary School, and you can see some of those bricks forming some of the first layers there of the wall for the rainwater catchment tank. Again, the folks who are part of this local partner, they work together. They're an independent group. They have their own monthly meetings. They have helped, we've had another partner on the ground, TCSC, who has helped us kind of facilitate their work and their meetings and their organization. And they are really off and running. They, not too long ago, started a table banking initiative with the group, where they are banking some of the extra income that they receive from selling soap and some of these other activities, and hopefully soon selling bricks. That forms a savings and investment pool for them for the future. So they've been an amazing local partner. We are 3 programs in, and we will be working on the next couple of programs coming up. They're right at the start of the largest one so far this year, and that's the 50 tanks as part of the water security program. So really excited to see these tanks come up, and obviously the kids are pretty interested to see what's going on, and we'll have hopefully plenty of water available for their schools soon. So our local partners typically will work with a community partner, and that's usually someone based in or near the community. They've typically existed for a while. They may have done or be skilled in a variety of different strengths and services. The one I'll highlight here is Zambia Women and Girls Foundation. They are based in Manze, Zambia, and we connected to them through the Friends of Manze, who is based in Wales. ZWAGFO is led by Charles Dinda, and the organization has built 10 schools and created 9 gardens. And we met them in May of 2019. We're very impressed with their structure and the organization they have on the ground, and they have lost count, at least a half dozen employees that work for the organization, and they work closely with the local government on identifying communities that may fit their needs. And they're a great partner for us because not only have they built trust with both Manze and other nearby communities, but we have a lot of complementary strengths, and we were able to request and have 3 of their facilitators visit Munamumba recently and carry out our community engagement with Munamumba. So that's really exciting, and there'll be more about that as I talk about that over the next few weeks. This is a picture from our trip, and I wanted to include it in the presentation because it's one of the schools that was already there when Eric and Kurt and another team member visited in May of 2019. And this is a picture of a school they've built since then, and that's a school that was built with our interlocking stabilized soil bricks. We went through a training in early 2020, and we purchased 2 or 3 presses for the community. Those presses were, that's the great thing about the presses, they're mobile, and they were taken over to Mongolia where the school was being built. And members that we trained, as well as Zambia Women and Girls Foundation team, pressed bricks for the school, and it is up and running and looks fantastic. So they're a great example of a community partner, and they continue to help us in and around Manze, as I mentioned, with Munamumba, and hopefully with a couple of other communities there that we expect to be working with soon. Another kind of partner is a training partner. And Matsakha is someone that we have already used, especially because bricks have been very central to a lot of our work during the past year. Matsakha makes the presses for those bricks. They are based out of Kenya, but they actually have offices in multiple countries. We've done enough work with them now that they do offer us discounts on the presses that we buy, and they provide training. So they will come out as they did in Kambiri and help us with information about making the interlocking stabilized soil bricks, which you see here. These bricks are made with a few different colors of marram. That's why they're all different colors, as we were testing the marram and getting their advice on that testing. And then they actually helped us to build the first tank that we built in Kambiri, which was a great process for us because it helped test some theories. It also helped us refine the model. And you can see the gentleman there in the gumboots is from Matsakha and is helping us lay out the tank and start to build it. And this was what it looked like with all the bricks in place, and is working right now. Water is coming out of it. I actually wish I had a video of water coming out of the tank, but the tank is full, and it was a great model for the tanks we're now building in the rest of Matsakha. Another kind of partner we have is a program partner. And I want to kind of highlight the county government of Kakamega. This has been I cannot emphasize how important and beneficial it has for us to team up with local government for a number of reasons. One, they have the big picture. They have an idea of how the county or the district or the sublocation or the location is working, what they hope to see in that area, what's missing, you know, where the gaps are. They have a lot of data, and they just have experience looking at the big picture and understanding how things are going to work best in that area. And so we've been very fortunate to have them help us in a variety of ways. We had worked with the Department of, and actually I really should say the Matsakha Development Group and TCSC had worked with the Department of Industrialization, Trade, and Tourism. I always want to check myself when I list out those three because they don't always sync up well in my mind, but that department, the assistants for that department indicated that there were better ways that we could design the label so that it would sell better, both in the county and outside the county, and that the bottles we could use a different bottle that would be more useful for folks at home. So that was great feedback from the local government. You can see the before and after shot here with the before on the left, and the new bottles and new labels here on the right-hand side, and they look fantastic. And those were designed almost entirely by the local team in Matsakha. So This is what that local market is looking for, and it's great to have that on the ground expertise. They also helped us helped MDG receive the KEBS certification for the soap, and that national certification will enable Matsakha Development Group to sell their Meta soap in stores and outside the county. So it really gives them an opportunity to scale and expand their work. And you can see Eric's influence here. His email address is actually the contact information for the KEBS certification. So he helped them every step of the way in helping to achieve certification and get this soap on the stores and being sold. And then finally, and don't ask me to make heads or tails of this, I'm sure Kurt can, but these are the engineering drawings for our rainwater catchment tanks. These drawings are for the curved brick tanks. We had done ferro cement, which is what a lot of folks have done before, but using the curved brick tanks is beneficial in a number of ways. One of them especially is it provides income for the local community as they are creating the bricks for the tanks. The tanks also are very strong and require less mortar when putting them together. But these drawings for the tanks were approved by multiple departments in the Kakamega County government, and were done so they could actually be constructed in the schools. And it's not only do we get approval and work with the government teams, but just like the community, it helps us start to build a relationship with individuals and let them know that we are here for a while, that we've got a build center in the area, and that we are committed to the community's growth. Another partner I wanted to mention, another partner type that I wanted to mention was a technology partner. And we're, generally speaking, we're technology agnostic. We're looking for the best technology for that particular community. Everything is customized to that community. We have worked with the University of Buffalo, specifically the Assistant Dean Mara Huber. We connected with her over some past work in Tanzania. And she had a group of students who were looking to take on a project. And so they did a semester project for a toilet that could be constructed in the field. One that can be built with using, again, the ISSB press. And so being able to reuse that press and use those bricks in another capacity. And so they set about designing an eco sand composting toilet. And there just some overview of some of the pictures of it. It's not something that we have built yet because we haven't, that program hasn't been the lead program for one of the communities yet, but we have this amazing design and model for when that does take place that we can start testing in the field. And that's what it looks like from the outside. This will probably be customized for the communities. We are not sure about the elevation and the steps and whatnot. There's some drawbacks to that, but we really appreciate all the work that the team at the University of Buffalo did over the semester in their research and their design for what this could be. And we've got this fantastic information now to build on. And then while we're here, I just also wanted to mention, because this is kind of upcoming for us, what you're seeing here is kind of the early stages and the final stages of a cook stove as part of our safe cooking program. These are a version of a rocket stove, so they require much less fuel than a regular stove, and they burn hotter and cleaner, and they're just generally much safer. This particular stove was created by local artisans in the area. We also will be meeting with the University of Washington Clean Cook Stoves Group and Burn Design Lab, which is another organization that does clean cook stoves. And so it really kind of reinforces the idea that there are multiple ways to do this. We're looking for the one best way for that technology and for that community. And that can be a partnership between not just us and another group, but another group and a group on the ground. It just depends on the technology and the need at hand. So we're excited for the cook stove work to move forward, and there'll be more on that coming up. And then of our final two, one of them is our funding partner. And this can take a variety of views. It can be a foundation, an agency, or a group of people who are together formally or informally. It can be individuals. We were really excited to have Rotary as one of our funding partners, specifically the Bedford Rotary out of Massachusetts. We have a long-time connection with at least one of their members, and we have shared a lot of information with the group. We've done a couple of presentations to their Rotary on work in East Africa, and through those presentations, they were applied for and were approved for a district funding grant, and then raised additional money to go along with that grant. So we're really excited to be a Rotary partner. We are looking to also partner with Rotaries in the local communities where we are working. And they're interested, hopefully in the future, of expanding this into a global grant. And then the final partner I want to touch on, and actually I'm going to have ask that Kurt touches on, is our mission partner. And these partners, there are a variety of folks who are mission partners. And Kurt, do you want to speak more about them?
Yeah, thanks, Will. When we think about the mission partner, it's nothing that's very specific, other than these are folks who help us figure out where we go, what we do, who we know, how we get connected. And it all happens, if this is a plane, this all happens at like the 25,000 foot level, but then also rapidly allows us to get down to the ground level. And I think a few examples would be the Friends of Monze, which is comes from a Friends meeting in Bridgend, Wales. And their one of their members decided a number of years ago, Dina Owens, that she wanted to start work in Africa, where she had visited in Zambia. And so she was the inspiration and the work behind putting this together. And that allowed us to then meet the Zambia Women and Girls Foundation later. The structure that they created is the very reason we were able to go to Monze and be successful. So even though there's no funding, we're on different missions. Nevertheless, what they have been able to provide to us was priceless. Friends United meeting is a little bit different. They are located in Western Kenya, and I don't think we've really worked very closely with them, except for the fact that if we didn't work with the Friends United meeting, we never would have met TCSC. And TCSC, Transforming Communities for Social Change, run by Getray Agiza, is the sole reason that we were successful in our work in Matsakha. And they were able to help us articulate our mission and connect our mission to the ground very, very successfully. As Will had already touched on, in Kenya, again, the national ministries. Now, we were not working directly with them, but they are the folks who run the Kenya Bureau of Standards. It's a national department. Without them being able to provide a stamp of approval, certification for our soap, we wouldn't have been able to sell our soap in stores, or wouldn't be able to put them into schools either. So it's very far ranging, but without them being there, our mission would not have been as successful as it currently is. SSAAP is just the complete opposite of a national ministry. This is one woman, Heather Cumming, who spends much of her year in Simwatachela, Zambia. But what she has there is, once again, no funding. She does her entire operation, I think, every single year on probably $15,000. So they are not helping us getting funding, but she was able to introduce me and Eric to Chief Simwatachela, and we were able to meet all of the elders of the Simwatachela village complex. There's 13 different villages. So completely different than a big organization like Friends United meeting, or an even bigger organization like the Kenyan government. But still, the mission would not have been accomplished or even accessible to us if it wasn't for her and the Simwatachela Arts and Agriculture Program, Simwatachela Sustainable Arts and Agriculture Program. It's a mouthful. Now, very similar to what Heather Cumming allows us to do is something that Charles and Marianne Hosking have allowed us to do. They are restricted donors. They have given us a significant amount of money to do work. And that's not the mission, that's the funding part. But the mission part is they restricted this to Zambia and Zimbabwe. So that's another way a person or a group or a household can become a mission partner, is by steering the direction. Everything I'm talking about is very strategic. So they are driving our strategy by funding our ability to go into places that we might otherwise not have even thought of going into. So their mission impact is that it has changed the direction of the work that we do to go into Southern Africa, which is monumental. Same thing for PPI, which is the People for Progress in India, and they're out of Seattle. But these are folks who, and this is something that David and I have been working on, is how we can be successful in India. And one of the ways that we can be successful is by having kind of steering guidance, suggestions coming out of PPI, because they're very much on the ground and they do a lot of follow-up work. So our mission alignment with them is that they can describe best practices for us. They can give us connectivity that we wouldn't otherwise have. And they can be an on-the-ground presence potentially, or the organizations that work through them, such as Gravis, can be an on-the-ground connection that we would not have had without PPI. And then the last example is the AFSC, American Friends Service Committee, and they're everywhere, and they influence much of the work that we do by the community of support that we get from them, which sounds like funding. But what's also interesting is that has been our entree into Zimbabwe. We're planning on going to a little village known as Binga, which is up in the very northwestern region of Zimbabwe. And none of this would have come to fruition. And this is actually where mission partners can connect. This is actually a triangulation, because this is Charles and his late wife, Marianne's desire, coupled with AFSC's strategic ability to operationalize these ideas, connecting with Friendly Waters' ability to tactically and logistically carry out this work. So the mission is multiply tiered, but with the same effect, which is that we are getting important work done on the ground. So mission partners, by and large, they don't show up as a major funder. We don't We don't talk about them nearly enough. But without the consistent and compassionate work that they provide to us, we would not be in the position that we are today. So I appreciate you, Will, letting me talk a little bit about the mission partners, because they are really the unsung heroes from which all of our good work flows. And it's really a good feeling knowing that there is this type of web of support and structure that varies from an individual living in a hut in Simwatachela to the Kenyan government, to the Friends United meeting, and altogether, that is our globe of support that allows us to do the work that we do today. So, Will, again, thanks for the opportunity, and thank you, everybody, for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kurt. And I think that particular group of folks is a really fantastic way to end the discussion about partners, or at least the presentation, I should say. I'm totally open to questions. Across all the different kinds of partners, you really get this great perspective of both the team that's necessary to successfully do this work, and also the investment. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of time to invest in these relationships. And once you've done so, you want to see them grow and flourish. And hopefully that's something that can be amplified through our build centers, that when one partner is able to help us through one of our build centers at a community, that partner will be able to help us with other communities around that build center. So being able to connect with folks and then being able to work with them more than once to build up kind of a reservoir of trust and expectation and knowledge is really fantastic. So final words, like I said at the beginning, if you are interested in becoming a sustaining member, please let me know, and save the dates for our build week, November 23rd through 29th through December 3rd. We'll be excited to see or hear from or talk to all of you during that week. So, all right. Does anyone have any questions, comments, partners you'd like to suggest for us? Okay. Well, thanks everyone very much for attending. Remember, our next chat will be Friday, December 3rd. There'll be a wrap up on our year. That invite will be going out soon. I'm going to leave this call open for just a minute in case Diana can connect. But as for the rest of you, have a wonderful Halloween and a great weekend. Thanks very much.
I just like the way that we are connecting all kinds of people who have the same interest but may never have known about each other, and it's kind of amazing to me that we can now do this kind of international work while I sit in my chair.
Thanks, David. Thanks, everybody.